So nothing to if you haven't heard of Arbonne before, and it's simply one of the names of the 4 different levels within the Arbonne business, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. Arbonne are a 37-year-old company. They were founded by Peter Mork in 1975. He was probably a bit of a pioneer at his time because he wanted to create the world's first anti-aging range, and in fact he did that well ahead of anybody else. And so over that time, and over that time, cutting-edge product research and development has meant that they've developed that continually over the time. Now, what he also wanted to do was to create a business that his family could run around their lives and around their children. And he took Arbonne to the States in 1985, and he set it up as a direct selling and network marketing company. And that's where Arbonne have been and grown ever since. What it's meant is that he's created communities of independent consultants who are people that want to run their own businesses, but want to be able to be in control of how and when they work. Arbonne is a global company, although they're actually only in 7 countries. So they're only in Canada, the UK, Australia, the States, Poland, the gateway to Europe, New Zealand, Taiwan, and we're about to go into Germany in 2018. So for a 37-year-old company, they've only very slowly globalized. He and now his son, who runs the company, have focused on building the company in one country before they move to the next. What he's also developed over that time, what they've developed, is an amazing compensation plan, which I'll touch on shortly, and an amazing home office team. So in 2009, Kay Napier Zanotti, she's married now, so you may hear different names, was brought on as the CEO of the company. Now, she was previously she's highly revered globally, but she was recognized as being the woman that turned McDonald's around after the Super Size Me movie, where their share prices dropped overnight. She came in, and she's another reason that if any of you have children who want to go to McDonald's, but you can actually go in now and buy a Healthy Choice meal or the apple slices. So she created that Healthy Choice meal campaign across McDonald's, which has now turned them around as a company. We also have amazing formulators. So our chief formulator has won awards globally. He was previously with Aveda and turned it from a couple of $1 million company into a multi-million-dollar company through his formulations and creations. And we now have him, thankfully, on our team, growing and developing the products that I'll mention again shortly. One of the things that Arbonne have developed, and many network companies do it, but Arbonne have developed, is state-of-the-art distribution. So we have, for me running my own business, I didn't want to have to worry about or need to know about technology and marketing, branding. Everything is done for me. I envisioned when I thought of network marketing, I'd be the lipstick mum, where I'd have to have all my stuff stored in a cupboard under the stairs like my grandmother had done, where because of technology and distribution centres Arbonne have these days, everything is done for us, and my business runs from my laptop, and I can run it from anywhere in the world that I am. Arbonne are also a member of the Direct Selling Association of Australia and of New Zealand. So what that means is that we have to adhere to very strict guidelines to be able to run our businesses. For me, that was a real vote of confidence. So what is social marketing? Social marketing is actually something that we're all doing every single day, whether we like it or not. So when you go to a local cafe and you have an amazing coffee or a meal and a great experience, the service was good, the coffee was great, and you leave that cafe and you talk to 2 or 3 friends and tell them about the great experience you had at that cafe, if they then turn up with 2 or 3 friends as well, and they have that same amazing experience, great food, great coffee, great service, and then go and tell 3 or 4 friends, that cafe are going to get all of these people who start coming through into the cafe, but you're never going to get a thank you check for all those people that come into the cafe. And that's essentially what social marketing is. It's word of mouth marketing. If the best way probably is to compare that is traditional retail to social marketing. So if you think about a product that you might go and buy from the shelf, so a consumable product, whether it's an Estee Lauder night cream or whether it's a shampoo that you've seen advertised on TV, when you purchase that as a consumer and the shop at the chemist or the supermarket, what you're actually paying for is everybody that has touched that product before it's arrived at you. So the manufacturer probably only spend a couple of dollars making it, but you're paying anything from $10 to $150 for that product. The wholesaler, the warehousing, the sales force, the celebrity endorsements that are paid millions of dollars to say that they use a product, whether they do or not is inconsequential. And then the retailer to come to you, versus with social marketing. So for example, with Arbonne Arbonne or the manufacturer, I purchase that product directly from myself online, or if somebody wants a product and they've referred by me, they purchase it online from Arbonne as the manufacturer. It arrives to their door within a couple of days. And all of the money that's saved from the process of the people in the middle goes directly back to Arbonne to be able to reformulate, to redevelop the product, and then to reward and incentivize myself and other independent consultants very well in between that, either as commission or overrides. So what it essentially means for social marketing is that you are able to be your own boss. That for me, it's meant that I can run a business around my family, around everything else that I'm doing, because I'm not having to worry about all of the processes in the middle. Anyone that's run their own business before, and I had a period where I ran a blind business, which is a whole different story. But for me, I had to purchase those blind pieces from a manufacturer. And then as a wholesaler, I then had to actually warehouse those things myself in my garage or get them from a warehouser down in Tauranga. I had to find people who were the installers. I had to find the sales force to support me running that business. I needed an accountant. I needed help with the marketing. So by the time I actually sold those blinds and awnings outside, the profit that I made from it was very minimal, versus for me running this Arbonne business, where every time I'm talking to somebody, I know that I'm talking to them because I love the business. It's growing for me. So it's meant that I can leverage my social network. I run my business from an office outside my child's room, from the car when I'm picking the kids up from school or daycare, and I can fit it into the nooks and crannies of my day. What it's also meant, and this was a really key for me, is I didn't have to give up my full-time job to be able to run this business. So I can keep the security of my current income that pays mortgages and rents and fees, and slowly build this business to cover the other expenses that are coming up in my life, and actually to start to put some money away to save it. So for me, and I think for anyone, when you're looking at a new business, there are two things that are really important. One of them is obviously market demand and consumer demand. All Arbonne products are combining the best of science, nature, and new technology. So what I mean by that is all of our products are plant-based, botanically based formulations, taking the best of science and nature. So whereby you might want to purchase a nice skincare product that is anti-wrinkle. The idea of having a nice product that feels great is all well and good, but for me, I want to know that actually it's going to deliver the results that the products that I was previously using at a really high price from a local skincare specialist. So it's being able to know that actually I'm getting the best of both of those. Arbonne products are all built on Swiss heritage. So European standards dictate, or actually, and there are guidelines that say there are around about 1,400 ingredients that are not allowed into any Swiss-made products. And actually, it's illegal for some to go into products that are made for children under 3. Australia and New Zealand, that sits between 9 and 11 at the moment, or 9 and 12 at the moment. So long as it sits on the label, it can go into the products. So even though we're now based out of America, we're still based on those Swiss standards. All of our products are highest quality ingredients sourced from around the globe. So currently our orange stem cells that are in our RE9 have been sourced globally. The pea-based proteins in our nutrition have been sourced so that they're from the most highly sustainable pea-based products globally. Everything is clinically tested. So whilst you can take mine or your consultant's word for it, you know that there's clinical testing and the results are available from any of us to show you around any of the products as well. And that was a key thing for me. Never tested on animals, and none of our products have any byproducts in them, and you can see that we've got the certifications around vegan and gluten-free. And those are also really difficult things to actually achieve in the first place. The thing that really stood out for me, and I think is really key if we're looking at a new business product, is stuff that's not in our products. If you go in the supermarkets 5 years ago, you'd have seen that there may be 2 or 3 things on a shelf that were gluten-free, chemical-free, organic, natural. Whereas if you now go in the supermarket, you'll see that you've got an aisle or 2 of them. In fact, there are shops that purely sell these things. Arbonne's products are all pure, safe and beneficial. And they've been these things since day one, since 1975, even though it's just the trend and key to be those things now. All of our products are formulated without animal byproducts. They're not tested on animals. There's no artificial colours, flavours, sweeteners, no chemicals, no formaldehyde, denoting preservatives, no parabens, which obviously is really key with the advent of now research showing that parabens are a key cause of breast cancer. So in a research in the UK in 2012 of 100 women with breast cancer and tumours, every single one of those tumours contained parabens. And parabens are a synthetic preservative that sits in our shampoos. So it means that I can buy shampoo off the chemist or the supermarket shelf and it could have sat there for 10 years and still have the same colour and scent that it did 10 years ago. No sodiums, no synthetic dyes and talcum powders. And the thing that was really biggest to me was no petrolatum or mineral oil. So I had no idea actually what this meant prior to being shown this presentation. Other than that, I thought it was a nice product that sat in all of the things that were in our cupboard. What I found out after this presentation and actually doing a bit of research myself was that mineral oil is essentially the byproduct from the distillation of petrol. So it's so expensive for the petrol houses to distill of it, to dispose of it, that they on-sell it to cosmetic houses as bulk filler. So your moisturisers and your shower gels that you buy at the supermarket are full of mineral oil, which is essentially like a cling film or a glad wrap that covers your skin. And obviously the skin's the largest organ of your body, preventing both the toxins getting out, but also the good stuff getting in. The reason I share that is I've got a son who has lactose intolerance and has had severe eczema. And I, after this presentation, went into the cupboard and actually pulled out all of the products, including his Sorbolene cream and Cetaphil, and both have mineral oil in. So these are things that we're becoming more and more aware of. And for me, I was mindful that the things I'm putting on my children's skin now, I may not know the consequences for another 5 or 10 years, which then leads me on to, I guess, that the consumer demand is key as well as marketplace demand. Now, if I'm looking at a new business, having been a personal trainer, where a great idea, people want to look younger, feel better, but personal training is one thing that if suddenly one of my clients was unemployed, was sick, had to move or something happened, personal training was the first thing that went. So for me, looking at a new business, and for anyone looking at a new business model, what are things that people continue to use day after day, week after week, and it's recession proof, irrespective of their income and what's going on in their life, they will still need these things. And this is where Arbonne really, for me, ticked the box and light bulb went off. Arbonne have over 1,400 products. We've got amazing skincare ranges, which have our RE9, the flagship range I mentioned, men's range, baby range, there's a teenage range, there's a sensitive skin range, the amazing nutrition products that I mentioned briefly before, personal care, so shampoos, conditioners, spa experiences, sun protection, your hand soaps, your moisturizers, right through to amazing makeup range, which are all professional grade makeup products. And what I realized is that actually these are things that I'm purchasing every single week in my shopping, whether it's at the chemist, the department store, the supermarket, and I continue to purchase every single month. And I went through, if you go through a shopping list, you'll see that you do these things. Each of you this morning would have got into, unless you're my 12-year-old, would have got into a shower and had a wash, cleaned your teeth, put some shampoo in your hair, some bath soap. It would have washed down the drain. Tomorrow you go back and do the same. And when that runs out, you will go and repurchase those things again. Over the course of a female's life, they will spend on average $230,000 on consumable products. So when I looked at those numbers and thought that if I only had a percentage of that lifespan within my business of a handful of friends, that already is a very smart business model for me. So whilst I didn't think I knew many people when I was looking at this as a business, what I did realize is I knew everyone has skin and hair and has these needs every single day. So why Arbonne, why now? Obviously, social marketing is booming. What I learned, what I've seen, and actually you can see globally now, is that network marketing and social marketing is the industry of the 21st century. More and more people are wanting to be able to have time leverage. They're wanting to have more choices, regardless of whether you're old, young, male, female, an at-home mum, unemployed, CEO of a business. You're all looking for having life choices. And this is an opportunity for people to be an entrepreneur. And that's a massive thing in Australia and New Zealand. People want those opportunities, but with very low startup costs. It cost me the cost of a laptop to start my Arbonne business. It cost me $65,000 to start my blinds business. You can do this full-time, you can do this part-time. We have people within my team that are mums, teachers, nurses, business owners, male, female, students who all have different goals in the business, and that's absolutely fine as well. The other thing is that it allows you to have a global business. So wherever Arbonne is, and I'll touch on this shortly, you can have a business. So it meant that for me, I can have a business that's working whilst I'm asleep. My sister-in-law runs a business in New York, an old school friend in the UK. So while they're busy talking about their business and they're selling products, or building their businesses, I'm able to be sleeping. Obviously, Arbonne's commitment to an evergreen business and pure, safe and beneficial is only growing and growing and growing. And within New Zealand and Australia, this is ground floor as we grow globally, given that we're only in 7 countries. And as a business, you don't need to have any business skills. All the infrastructure is provided for you. All the e-commerce, your marketing, your branding, your websites, everything is shipped to clients and to your consumers without you having to touch anything. You don't need to carry inventory. You don't even need to know what they're purchasing. They can go online on their own little shop and they can purchase it themselves. So Arbonne have been very smart in that they have been able to tick all of those boxes. As I mentioned before, social marketing really is the business of the future. Paul Zane Pilsner, who predicted the dot-com boom, predicted that direct selling and network marketing or social marketing would be the business of the 21st century. And it is already becoming a $1 trillion business. Brand awareness has grown. You look at if you want to find a hairdresser or a great florist in your area, you typically go on to Facebook or to Instagram, and you're able to find that very quickly. Uber, Airbnb are really good examples of 2 companies that don't own a car, don't own a hotel, and they've built their business, Uber in particular, through word of mouth marketing. And that's the great thing with health and wellness products now, is that people will look to somebody who's used a product and tried it to make their decision based on referral and recommendations. So how I've run my business, or how you can run your business, there are a variety of different ways, but if nothing else, this really explains it as simply as possible. All I've done is stop purchasing my consumable products that I was previously buying from retail stores. I've started purchasing them myself online from my own Arbonne shop online, and they come to my door within a couple of days. I'm buying a far superior product at a discount from my store, and then I've shown others how they can also purchase products if they like from their own little shop. When that happens, I get paid a commission, and then if somebody wants to be able to redirect their spend and run a business like me, I can show them how to do the same and then get an override from that. So I've simply shown people how to change their consumer spend and how to create a business from that if they want to as well. It's as simple as that. The way that I do it, or the way that it can be done within our team, there are a variety of different people that run things differently. You can run it as a host event, and the way I choose to run the business is one-on-one, and that fits best into my time, either whether it's Zoom presentation like this or meeting a friend for a coffee or a wine, taking them through the presentation that I'm showing you now. And then obviously at the end of that, giving them some product to try for a couple of days, because it's easy to say, this is a great product. But if they're anything like me, they actually want to try it for themselves and see if it really is that good. Whilst obviously the clinical results are there, the RE9 is the product that we tend to lead with because it is clinically proven to deliver results within a couple of days. And it's fair to say that I was a little bit apprehensive about this, having tried lots of clinical products before. But when I was given the bag, I actually didn't want to give it back afterwards and kept trying to move my appointment out. There's lots of research around the RE9 that you can certainly ask more for if you want to know about that. What I'd then do is meet up with that person a couple of days later, find out what they loved about the business, what they loved about the product. And then if they'd like to purchase the product, I can set them up as a preferred client. Or if they would like to run the business, I then show them how they can run a business. The great thing with Arbonne is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. So what I mean by that is, as I've grown the business, this time last year, there is not a chance I'd have sat in front of one person doing this presentation, let alone a group of people. And in fact, when I had my launches, I hid in a corner because I was so nervous about what people think or how I would deliver it. So I had teams around me that I would help support that business with me. And all I've done is I've shared this business with a handful of people. And those handful of people have shared the business with a handful of people and a handful of people. So you build that network. Now, over time, I won't know all the people in my network, but somebody I know will know somebody. So within the individuals on the screen at the moment, you have a couple of people that are within our team. Now, over 4 to 5 years that they've been in the business, they've introduced anywhere from 10 to 15 people into the business. That's all. But those 10 to 15 have introduced a handful of people, and that's where the network has grown for them. So Danny Stevens is an example, the lady in the top with the long hair and the black dress, who doesn't generally look like that. That was done for a charity photo shoot. She has introduced, I believe over the last 5 years, she's just been 5 years in the business now, about 10 people into the business. Now, of those 10 people, she now has a consumer network of over 10,000 people. Now, she doesn't know all those people, but that's the beauty of time leverage and of networking and of talking to people and growing your business that way. Just to give you a really brief overview of what is possible within the business, this is the compensation plan. So Arbonne are a very flatline business. What I mean by that is that everybody comes in as an independent consultant. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is an effort-based business. So 2 people can come into the business at the same time, and depending on what their goals are, one can move above the other more quickly than the other. District manager is the first level within the business. These are just averages, and they're Australian numbers, obviously, because New Zealand hasn't been here quite a year yet. But you can see the lowest and the highest amounts around that. $300 means different things to different people. Some people, it could mean a credit card bill. It could mean that a power bill's paid. The average time to get there is, within Australia and New Zealand, is 5 months. Within our team, it's taken us 1 day and 14 days as the shortest time. And the average income at this level is sitting around the highest amount. Next level is area manager. Now, the key here is that this is where your business becomes willable. So touch wood, hopefully, but if anything were to happen to me, the network and the business that I'm growing can be willed to my family now. Now, I never had that opportunity within any of the other businesses or jobs that I have currently. Something happens to me, you rely on income insurance, but that's a paid out payment, and then that's it. The next level from there is the regional vice presidents. Now, the little Mercedes-Benz mark at that is just to indicate that at this level, Arbonne have a relationship with Mercedes, and they have since day one, being pure, safe and beneficial, whereby there's a Mercedes-Benz bonus. So one of the things with running your own business is that you have your other expenses, your office expenses, your power, your vehicle expenses. At this level, Arbonne will support you in paying your vehicle expenses. If you choose, you don't have to opt on this. You can choose to keep the bonus for yourself, or you can choose to put it to a vehicle expense. So long as that vehicle is white, it's Mercedes, you can lease the car, it can be brand new, it can be secondhand, it doesn't matter. So long as it's in your name, Arbonne will pay you $1,100 per month towards the cost of running that car. That goes up at National Vice Presidents to $1,300. That's varies slightly from Australia to New Zealand. The other part of that also is there are lots of other incentive trips. There's trips to Thailand, there's conferences, quite a few within the team have just been to Las Vegas. We've got the Gold Coast coming up. Children come to those. I took my 5-month-old to one in Las Vegas, and I took him when he was, I think, about 4 weeks old to Melbourne at the start of the year. And that's a great thing with the business, is that the bonuses and incentives are there, but it's not about focusing on that to the detriment of your family. One thing that I will mention that again was a really key thing for me was I've worked for other people all of my life, and most of you will have done the same as well. And you can work as hard as you want, and you can work as if it's your own business, but if it's not your own, you're only ever going to be able to earn what your boss or the people that own the business will let you do. Within Arbonne, you can overtake someone. So when I was introduced to the business, my business partner and I started at the same level, and I was very driven to want to have the business grow before I had my baby. So I moved to area manager before her. And what it's meant is I've been able to move above her. So the great thing is being an effort-based business, you're not sitting underneath somebody else the whole time either. As I mentioned before, Arbonne is a global opportunity. We're currently only in 7 countries, but Clay, our CEO, has a globalization plan that she's spearheading currently to take us into 55 countries over the next 10 years. We're going to Germany at the start of 2018. So whilst you might not know somebody in any of those countries currently, you may know someone who knows someone. And what it means is, if you look at the map currently, all of those blue areas are places that we haven't even touched yet. 2012, there was a document that was published by the Wall Street Journal that listed the top 100 network marketing companies. Now, at the time, Arbonne sat at 33. And when I read through this document, I remember thinking, well, they're so good. How come they're sitting at 33? what I realized very quickly is that all of these other companies were fully globalized, and we at the time were only in 4 countries. So Arbonne is growing with or without any of us. I had a FOMO, a real fear of missing out, and I saw the opportunity in New Zealand and to be able to grow it. And so for me now, the excitement of where we're going to next means I really have a global opportunity. So hopefully after you've seen the presentation this evening, there are several different ways that you can be involved with Arbonne. One of them is to say, great, I love the product, it's a nice idea, but it's really not for me. But you can help support the person that introduced you into watching the presentation this evening by hosting an event or referring somebody that you think could be great or be interested in Arbonne. Or you may love the products and say, I love the products, the business isn't for me, but I'd like to be able to purchase them. And you can be set up as a preferred client. You have your own login. You can order bits and pieces from your phone. They've got an amazing app that you can now order from your phone. It's very dangerous as well. Get 20 to 40% recommended retail price off all the products. There are rewards towards future orders, discounts and bits and pieces, and lots of special offers that come up from time to time. Or you may decide that actually I can see something that really resonates with me within this. What I'd say is, don't overthink it, jump on in. You get 35 to 50% off all of the recommended retail price. There are products, and we would support you in starting to build your own business. There's the compensation plan that I touched on briefly, the Mercedes-Benz bonus, all of the other trips and opportunities that are there, the extensive product sales, sponsoring, marketing, resources and training. Everything is on your phone at the touch of a button. And the biggest thing that actually I didn't anticipate when I started this business was a personal growth and development. This really is a personal development and growth program wrapped up as a business. Like I said, a year ago, I wouldn't have sat talking to anybody about this business, but now to be able to discuss the products, the program, and to see other people start to build a business around a busy life, thinking they didn't have time for anything else, and actually thinking that they didn't have an opportunity to get ahead has been really amazing. So if I leave you with a couple of thoughts that I was given when I was shown this presentation, were, if anything resonates with you at all, don't overthink it, just jump in and give it a go. You really have nothing to lose. What I was asked was, what if this did work? Rather than thinking, what if it didn't? What if it did? What if you started this business and you grew it to where you had a multi-million-dollar business? The lady that introduced me to this business a year ago was sitting as a regional vice president. She's now a national vice president. She's earning over $22,000 per month. She works part-time in the police force. She has 2 young girls, and she runs this business around 10 to 15 hours a week. When I looked at what she was doing, I thought, if I could just have a fraction of that, the choices for me are tremendous. And the other thing that was told to me was, if your income stopped tomorrow, how long could you last on your savings? And that for me was a bit of a moment of actually not very long at all. And certainly right now, things are changing for me. Whereas a year ago, if I looked into my future, nothing looked different. I was still going to be trying to struggle to get ahead, keeping my head above water month after month, week after week. So that draws me to the end of this presentation, guys. Like I said, don't overthink it. If anything resonates with you at all, just jump in and speak to your the person that introduced you to the business and have a chat to them. And hopefully this has given you a little bit more information. And I look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Thanks, everybody.